back to another episode of Crash Course, a hockey podcast. I am not your host, Alec Sherman. Today we have Michael Rivera as well. Welcome.
It's good to be here. Some of us got to work, you know?
Yeah, Corey decided to take his 4th or 5th vacation of the year. So, we're here filling in, doing our thing.
Do you know where he is?
I don't know. Probably, Florida or Alaska. Who knows?
Always on a beach somewhere.
Always on a beach. Getting his tan. Speedo?
Yikes.
Gross. Anywho, we're going to call this the NA3 version of the show today. We're going to go a little more in depth with the NA3 team, kind of fill you in on what we've been doing this summer, new guys coming in, returners, kind of how we prepare for, players' arrival, and all that fun stuff.
A little behind-the-scenes look at how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it's a long process. It's a stressful process, but once we get there, it'll be a good thing. So, what have you thought since you've come on? On staff since leaving UCO. What have you thought about being back in El Paso and building this team?
So, first off, there's a big difference between college recruiting and then junior hockey recruiting. That was the first thing. When you're doing college, you have to take in all aspects, their grades, can they get accepted, living on campus. There's a whole different process to getting that figured out. And you're also asking somebody to commit for 4 years of their life, maybe 5, versus, hey, just this next season,
Absolutely.
So that process is a little bit different. As far as, how I felt about it, I really like being back in junior hockey. I think that you get a group of guys that are really hungry at this age, very impressionable at this age. They're all looking to make a jump to the next level, which when guys are hungry like that, it makes your job as a coach a lot easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the college level's got to be a little bit more difficult, especially, guys are kind of set in their ways already. They're still developing and still learning, obviously, but I feel like, the junior landscape, it's more of a development and more of, helping them get to that level as to where maybe college is a little bit more, they're kind of set in that way. I could be wrong, but I believe,
No, that's pretty accurate because, a big thing, especially at the ACHA Division I level, you have guys that will go play some levels of pro hockey, minor pro hockey, but I would say in the league, 90%, 95% are not going to go on and continue playing. So they're heavily focused on their academics and their careers, after college hockey. So when a guy's set in his ways, it's hard to change that. Absolutely. When they're not looking to make that next jump. They're just looking, to play more hockey while they're getting an education.
Yeah, not to give up the dream quite yet, per se. Like juniors, everyone, wants to get better and move on. Obviously, you're still going to run into the guys that are hard-headed and set in their ways, but, for the most part, juniors is, about development, finding that next level, and really pushing yourself to get that opportunity. With that being said, I think we've put together a good team so far this season. Obviously, we're still waiting on a couple of guys who are currently in Tier 2 camps. I think we have 3 or 4 guys that we're kind of waiting on. Obviously, we wish the best of luck to them because the whole goal of this is for them to move up and move on. Obviously, we'd love to have those guys in here this season, but they got to go through the process and see if they can, land on a Tier 2 team, be it, the NA or somewhere in Canada or, whatever that might be. So, we're really looking forward to those guys getting back, but, hopefully they make it as well.
Yeah.
So we got, 2.5 weeks till the NA gets here and then 3.5 until the NA3 arrives?
It's coming quick, man.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like, you and I have, a week left of summer, basically.
Pretty much.
This week, and then conditioning camp starts. So, we got a handful of guys coming in for that, where they're just going to come in, get a bunch of touches, work on some, skating, some edge work. We got a goalie coming in, so they'll be able to work on their shot. He'll be able to work on his angles and, kind of get a feel for the speed. He's coming from U18 AAA, so, it'll be good for him to kind of, see what it's going to be, like this season. So
yeah, I think it's the conditioning camp that we have is awesome. Coming into a season, depending on where you live, some places it's really hard to get ice. We have a kid coming in from Odessa who, they have no ice there right now.
Yeah.
And so he's not able to skate during the summer, and so for him to come in 2 weeks early, get on the ice, skate, get acclimated to the altitude,
That's gonna be a
get
big
hydrated.
thing.
That's how you hit the ground running when camp starts.
For sure. Yeah, it gives them a good opportunity, obviously, and then they get to kind of see what you and I are like, what the facility is like for those who haven't been here yet. It's a really good opportunity to get in shape, see the town, get acclimated, meet their billets, and then, just be prepared. Once the rest of the guys get here on the 5th, it'll be an easy transition for them, and then they'll be able to help those guys transition themselves.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, I kind of want to go through the roster and, talk about guys that are coming back, and then a couple of new players that we're really excited about. So, from last year's NA3 team, we got Joseph Gutierrez, Donovan Bradford, a.k.a. Dadford, Colton Plant, Rocco Ramita, Julian Martinez, Sam Cook, Eddie Soriano Trejo, Garrett Reagan, and Austin Ronaldo. So it's a pretty good, solid core of guys coming back. They're really excited to, kind of keep the culture going from what we built last year, and hopefully put a banner up here in the ceiling this year.
Yeah, definitely. I know that's the goal. I think it's been too long.
Yeah.
So it's time that we get one up there. And I think having a good core of returners like that makes a huge difference. To have some consistency in the room year over year, it also speaks to the quality of the program and the job you did last season to have that many guys returning, because if it wasn't good, guys aren't coming back.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, there's just so many other options in the junior world. The other league has 61 teams in it.
Yep.
We have 30 whatever now this year, 35, 34, whatever it is. So there's a lot of options just in the United States, let alone Canada. So for guys to like it that much to come back, that's huge for us. And then we got quite a few kids that are making the jump from other leagues, from U18, from AAA and AA. We got some high school kids. It's a really good mix. We got a national champion U18 AA kid coming in from Nashville, Ethan McKnight on the back end, who I'm, really excited about. And then we got a couple of young kids, Andre Valenzuela and Max Anderson, two 08s coming in, ready to push the needle for us.
Yeah, I think having a couple guys that are 08s, having those first years, those 16 to maybe 17-year-olds, is going to be huge. Like, the development that they can get from being in junior hockey can really help them make that jump. And both guys are coming out of the prospect camp. Both guys, showed up and impressed the staff enough that we wanted to, offer them a contract and have them on the roster. Valenzuela is a local kid, and Anderson just became a local kid.
Yep.
Family moved down here, so two kids that are going to make El Paso proud, I think.
Yeah, I think so. The Max is a big boy. He's from Edmonton area in Canada, I believe. So corn-fed and whatnot, farm boy. His dad's in the oil field, so he's going to be bringing some strength. As an 08, that's awesome. And then Andre's a great skater, great puck mover. He's got a really high ceiling, so I'm really looking forward to helping develop him, and hopefully he can get a shot at the NA here. Being a young kid, he's got plenty of time still. Agreed.
I think he definitely has the ceiling and the trajectory to get up there. A lot of it's on him and how he works and puts in to develop, but the ceiling for him, like his trajectory is through the roof, honestly.
Absolutely. And then for goaltending, we got some really strong guys coming in there. It's going to be a battle every day for those guys, I think. What about you?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on them. It's going to be tough on us to make those decisions. Having good goaltending is the backbone of your team, and so I think we did a good job of addressing that early on, and it wasn't something we were worried about coming into the last months of the summer like some teams have to do, and so we locked them up early, and I feel good about where we're at with our goaltending.
Yeah, and I think each goalie that we brought in, honestly has a different style of play. So, teams aren't, if you play who we have and give them all opportunities, teams aren't going to be necessarily ready because they all bring something different to the table. Last year we had, two right catch goalies and a left catch goalie. So it was kind of weird with that, having two, right catch goalies is
That's
unheard
rare.
of. And they were both 03s too. So, this year we're doing kind of something, similar that it's different. But each goalie has a different attribute that we really like. Obviously there's some height in one of them. There's some small compete in the others, and then there's just some sound technique. So, we're really excited on the back end for both the defense and the goaltending.
Yeah, no, I think I'm a big believer in you build a team from your back end up and then through the middle of the ice. Those are the most important positions, and I think where we're at from a decor standpoint. I mean, when you look at that list over there. We talked about Valenzuela, but there's and Ethan McKnight, but there's a couple others. Ronaldo being a returner, but then you have Liam McCall, who we got through Chowder Cup. Yep. He's a Canadian. He's going to be an import. Really high ceiling on him as well as a D-man. Really big kid, strong kid. Can produce offense from the back end. Played a little bit of forward through midget hockey. Then you have Grant Norkowitz, Norky, from the Dallas area. A really good AA player, lots of experience at the national championship level, playing for the Tigers. And I think he's going to bring a lot of offense, a little bit of bite to his game, which I really like. You also have right there Tegan Stout.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it.
Absolutely. He's meat and potatoes. He goes to work, he does his job, and, he knows what to expect. And so far, I haven't heard a complaint out of him, so I'm excited for that. And if he keeps doing that and keeps improving, he's going to go to battle for us. I know that.
Kid will put his face in front of a puck, man.
Absolutely. I love it.
His
Rhino hockey, right?
Yeah, his midget coach told me I would be blown away if he doesn't lead your team in block shots, which says a lot about a kid.
Hey, that's what we need, and I love that. Can't have too much of that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, who else? We got some exciting guys on here.
Let's jump to the forward end.
Forwards, yeah. Who you thinking? Who are we liking? Obviously, Goots. We're Gootsing. He's
a pretty good player.
Back, he's a 200-foot player. He can put the puck in the back of the net. He moves the puck well. But he kind of is that lead by example guy. He's a little bit quiet in the locker room until he comes out of his shell, and then he's a little bit goofy. But he's always business. He's always focused. He's dialed in. He's excited to be back for sure. So I'm really looking to see what he can do. And then obviously Dadford, he came to us last year from Mason City. It wasn't a good fit. They kind of had him on the fourth line there. And they just, he couldn't produce with the fourth line that they had. So, we brought him in and threw him in the second, third line, hole. And, he was putting the puck in the back of the net. He was making moves. He was a solid player for us. So I just expect him to, improve as well.
Yeah, Rampage kid.
Yep.
Good pedigree.
Absolutely. Then we got Matt Tavares, who's coming to us from I think he's from New York, but he's coming to us from the New Jersey Renegades. He was one of their leading scorers last year. He's a big pickup. He's a quick little center. I think we're gonna like him a lot. Putting him with Goots on the wing or whoever it might be. I think they're gonna be kind of like a Nick Jones, Kyle Arias, and Gutierrez situation from last year. So yeah. I'm definitely excited for him. Britton Oldham from Odessa. He's gonna bring some grit. I really like that kid. He came with us to the Michigan pre-draft showcase. When was that? In May?
Early
May. So, we kind of locked him in shortly after that, and I'm really excited to have him in the lineup for sure.
Yeah, something interesting about him is that he was already committed to going back to playing AAA hockey. He kind of had his decision made. And then after being, around the Rhino way for a couple days and, asking some questions to some people that he knows the organization well, he made the decision and decided that this was going to be the best fit for his development. And I think that kid, just the way he plays hockey, he's a Rhino through and through. And so I'm excited to see what he can do here.
Absolutely. And then let's get into the local boys, Julian and Eddie. Those two, they were with us last year, obviously. They brought a lot to the table. They know their role. They work hard. They do what they're asked. And, they just go out there and give everything they have every shift. They might not see the ice right away, in the game or at the end of the game, but they're sitting there cheering the team on every second of the way. And that's huge for the culture, for sure.
Yeah, Julian came with us to Chowder Cup. It was the first time that I got to see him play in person, and I was really impressed, and it looked like he's developed quite a bit, just season over season from where he was at last year. He's got a high motor. He has the ability to produce offense. He created quite a few scoring chances at Chowder Cup, and I think if we can get him to start capitalizing on that, he can earn, even more ice time, maybe a bigger role. He's definitely not afraid of the physical play. He's funny with the chirps a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that about a
it.
guy. So, yeah, I'm really excited to work with him. And then, Eddie, haven't gotten to see him in person yet, but just watching him last year, like, kid works hard, man.
He works. He wants it. He's a smaller guy, so he's got to want it, going up against the Max Andersons at, 6'4" or whatever he is, and, Regners Janssens, he doesn't shy away from it. So
Love that.
It's a good trait that he has for sure. It's a really good lineup. I'm going to keep a couple guys secret, so I'm not leaving you out. Don't worry, guys. I'm not forgetting about you, but I don't want to, I don't want to give everyone the keys to the castle and know what's going on behind the closed doors here. So, I think we have a really good team coming in. I'm really excited to get things going. I just wish it was September 4th and we were prepared and everything, was in place and training camp, or I guess, I don't know, are we calling it training camp?
Yeah, it is.
I guess training camp, get guys in, get them in shape, make sure that they took care of their physical stuff that we asked them to do with the 2-mile run and the push-ups and sit-ups, and do the preseason testing, so we can kind of see where they are throughout the year, and just get things going. I'm just excited for everybody to be in El Paso. A lot of these guys, haven't been here before.
Yeah.
So, get them into El Paso. Hopefully it's not too hot on the arrival date. It's, supposed to be, 97 today, 98. So, and I think it's supposed to be like 103 next week in a couple days. So,
yeah, we'll cool down for a bit.
Hopefully it'll cool down for them for arrival date, and then they'll get into it because, obviously with the stuff that happened at training camp for the NA team, hopefully we handle it a little bit better and make sure that guys are hydrated coming in, and the heat and the altitude, that they're ready for it for the NA3 team.
Yeah, it's a tough environment to get acclimated to. You talk about the altitude and the heat, and so guys got to come prepared. You can't catch up, so you got to be drinking water before you get here. Make sure your body has those fluids, and then, as you get here, continue to hydrate and make sure that you take care of your body because, we can't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Exactly.
Literally. So
tell my wife that because she has a problem. She does not drink enough water. So Lauren, when you watch this, I know you will. You need to be drinking more water. Okay?
She's the medical professional.
I know. Why am I telling her?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. That's a conversation for off the air.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So you're excited for the season to start. So when the guys get in, okay, first meetings, first week, as you try to get this group of guys that has never played together, because like a team is a living organism that only lives for one season, right? Yeah. Because after that year, you got to, this year 04 is leaving, guys will depart throughout the year, right? So you only have this team for 1 year and that's it. So and there's so many new guys. So What is your process, or what do you believe needs to happen in those first weeks to establish the culture, set the expectations, and then ultimately, get to the point where we're teaching them the way we want to play?
Absolutely. So last year, I kind of, like we said in the last podcast, I kind of got thrown into the Wolves' den there. Luckily we had a good game plan in place, and I think this year it'll be kind of the same thing. But my biggest thing is, making sure that we do team building and culture and all of that stuff right off the bat so that there's no excuse. That's kind of what we did last year. We went on team hikes, we did team building exercises, we did the name game, we did, all sorts of different stuff to get to know each other so everyone feels comfortable. Because you walk into that locker room the first day, we've both been there, and I don't know any of these guys. I don't know what to expect. I know the coaches, I've talked to them, but what are they really like day to day? So, that's kind of a big thing for me, is when they walk in those doors, we get right into that so that guys start to feel, comfortable with each other, because you're going to spend, however many months together. And then once we get to that, it's, continuing the growth as a team, but then also we got to get systems in place.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get systems in place right away, and we got to get everyone buy-in. Because if they're not bought in, they might be a family, but if they're not bought into the systems, it's going to be a struggle there too. So last year, that was kind of the main focus for the week. Obviously, we did a lot of conditioning as well, trying to get them used to the altitude, and try and prepare them for the first games. I think this year is the same amount of time, about 2 weeks from arrival date to the first game.
It's a quick turnaround.
And September 20th here in El Paso against the Brahmas is going to be a battle. So it's going to be a tough 2 weeks for those guys to be ready. But that's a huge weekend. That's a huge series right off the bat. We did it against New Mexico last year. We dropped the first 2 games, and then we had to play catch up.
Yeah.
So you can, if you take 2 of the 3 against the Brahmas that first weekend, it's a good start. You're sitting pretty, and then you only got 1 more series against them. So you only got to win 2 more to win the series. And, that's what we did last year. We played them back-to-back weekends, so it was a battle that second weekend. So luckily there's a little bit of gap on that one this year. But, getting those guys ready right away is, as a team is huge.
It's crucial. Obviously you want to be the best version of yourself and the best team you can become playoff time, because once you're in playoffs, anything happens, right? But I've always believed in you can't make the playoffs in September.
Yeah.
But you can miss playoffs in September.
Oh, for sure.
So any points you drop there are points that you're going to have to chase the rest of the year, and any points you pick up are points you don't have to chase anymore. And so it is so crucial to get the guys going, right away. And with the 2-week turnaround, it's quick. Yeah. It's going to be hard, but like you said, I believe in the same things, in creating that culture. First, culture before strategy.
Yep.
Create that culture, then you kind of go, into your habits and your identity. Get them an idea of the way they want to play, then get to your systems, because you got to build the foundation, right? Like if you try to go right into this is the forecheck before you get to the culture, it's a house of cards just waiting to fall, right?
For sure.
You got to get that good foundation with the culture, because you can always lean back on that. Systems change as the year goes on.
Yeah, and if you can get once you get the players bought in, and they're going to be able to adapt. But if they're not bought in and they're not a group, trying to change those systems later in the year is going to be difficult, just as teaching them right off the bat. So, it's really finicky. It's very, it's a tough, thing to do for coaches. But if you can do it successfully, it makes the season a lot easier. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's hard. Like right off the bat, you got to get 25 guys in the room and make sure each one is seen and heard and valued, right? Like make sure that they don't just feel like a number in the cog, right? Like they got to be a piece of the puzzle. And so it's important for us as coaches to make sure that we're communicating with them and making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely. And on that point, kids these days are all learning in a different way, or they handle stress differently and whatnot. Back when we played, it was the coach was the coach, and that's just the route that they took. They were mean or they were nice or however it was. Like now it's kind of more of a player individual management, where some kids you're gonna yell and scream at, they're gonna shut down and they're done for the year. Mm-hmm. Or there's a kid that needs that to achieve his goals. So trying to manage each player as you get to know them as a coach is one of the biggest things that I found helpful last year, to help get the point across that some kids need the whiteboard, some don't want the whiteboard, some need to be yelled at, some need to be not babied, but taking a little more care with, I guess. So getting those kids in and really getting to know them definitely is a big thing for them and for us as well as coaches.
Yeah, I think it's not cookie cutter, right? If you're coaching everybody the same way, you're not going to get the results. And also, just to be clear, we don't yell and scream at anyone, safe sport. So we communicate sternly and effectively when needed.
Stern but fair.
Stern but fair. There you go.
So, I mean, that's really all I got for today.
Can we talk about one thing that I want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's more like a complaint. I like to complain a little bit.
Okay. I like this. Mikey's complaint corner.
Well, it's also, sure.
Can we put that in the bottom down
That's
here?
a segment now. Okay. So it's a complaint, but it's also appreciation.
Okay.
I just want to say that I appreciate air conditioning, specifically refrigerated air.
Oh, gosh.
So we both recently experienced our air conditioning units at home going down.
Yeah.
Yours a lot longer than mine, so I don't know why I'm the one complaining.
46 days.
It's insane. It's insane. And with the temperatures the way they've been, highs of, anywhere from 100 to 110. Really,
Yeah,
it can
seriously.
range. Not having AC is tough. It's You would think it's a luxury,
Yeah.
but it feels a little bit more essential when you don't have it.
For sure.
And I just want to say, I just want to complain about ACs breaking down and really appreciate when they work.
Oh man, it's kind of been the adversity that I've dealt with this summer. So I feel like it's just like, okay, hey, somebody's getting me prepared for the adversity for the season by dealing with the adversity in my air conditioner. But for you to also go through it, and then for the office to also be going through it, which we finally have a new AC unit thanks to you. So, now we have AC at the rink. But I think I lost 11 pounds from when my AC went out to today. I weighed myself last night, and I was like, what?
Hey, that's one way to do it.
So, I mean, I'm happy with it now that I have AC, but, if it was still an issue, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think that potentially on the horizon, you could see an HVAC company started maybe next summer.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know what the, classes are for that, but, I'd be a trustworthy HVAC guy that you can call on a weekend that I'm off, and I'll come fix your air conditioner for you for sure.
Yes,
There's some money in it. I'll tell you that much.
no doubt.
Found out the hard way.
No doubt. I appreciate air conditioning. I really do. It was a struggle.
Yeah. Oh, it was brutal stuff. But that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week, maybe with Corey. I don't know if he'll be back from vacation or not.
Yeah. Enjoy your pina coladas on the beach.
Yeah. Don't get too sunburnt. Make sure you got that SPF 100. All right. Well, that's it for us today. We'll see you guys next week.